answer this question wrong in your business analyst interview, you're already rejected. And the worst part is, most candidates don't even realize where they went wrong. They prepare for hours, memorize answers, but still fail. Because interviewers are not just listening to what you say, they are judging how you think. So before we start, subscribe. Because this is a complete business analyst interview series, and missing even one part can actually cost you your job. This is part 1, and I'm not just giving you answers. I'm showing you what interviewers actually expect, the mistakes candidates make, and how you should answer if you want to stand out. By the end of this video, you will start seeing these questions the way interviewers do, not the way candidates usually prepare. Let's get started. If you think business analyst interviews are about giving the right answers, you're already making a mistake. Because interviewers are not just listening to your answers, they are analyzing how you think. And today I'm not just going to give you answers, I'm going to show you how to understand the questions the way interviewers expect you to. Let's start with the most basic question, but also the most dangerous one. What is a business analyst? Now, when this question is asked, most candidates relax. They think, I know this. But that's exactly where they go wrong. Because the interviewer is not asking for a definition. They are trying to figure out, do you really understand the role, or did you just memorize something? So when you hear this question, don't just run to answer. Pause for a second and understand what is actually being tested. They want to see your clarity, your thought process, and whether you understand the impact of this role in a business. But what do most candidates do? They say something like, a business analyst gathers requirements. And technically, that's not wrong. But the problem is, it sounds incomplete. It sounds shallow, and it shows no real understanding. So the interviewer immediately feels this candidate knows the words, but not the role. Now, let me show you how to think about this question correctly. Instead of focusing on task, think about purpose. What is the real purpose of a business analyst? It's not just gathering requirements, it's solving business problems. And once you understand that, your answer automatically becomes stronger. So instead of basic answer, you can say something like this naturally. A business analyst acts as a bridge between business stakeholders and technical teams. They identify business needs, analyze requirements, and ensure that the solution delivers measurable business value. Now notice the difference. You're not just saying what a BA does. You're showing why the role exists. And if you want to elevate your answer even more, add one simple line at the end. My focus is on delivering business value, not just documentation. That one sentence changes your positioning completely. You move from being a task executor to someone who understands impact. Now let's move to the next question. And this is where interviewers check if you understand the role beyond definitions. What are the key responsibilities of a business analyst? Now again, don't just jump into answering. First, understand what is being tested here. This question is not about listing tasks. It's about whether you understand the role from start to finish. The interviewer is trying to see, do you think in a structured way, or do you just say random things? But most candidates make a very common mistake here. They start listing everything they remember. Documentation, meeting, analysis, communication. No structure, no flow, no ownership. And the answer sounds scattered. And worse, many candidates don't even mention their role during delivery, which makes it look like they disappear after documentation. So how do you fix this? By thinking in terms of life cycle, from understanding the requirement all the way to ensuring it is delivered correctly. So your answer should flow like a story. A business analyst is responsible for understanding business needs, gathering and analyzing requirements, communicating with stakeholders, documenting requirements, analyzing processes, and supporting the solution throughout delivery. Now, this already sounds structured, but if you want to stand out, add this one line. I stay involved from requirement gathering till implementation to ensure the solution meets business expectations. Now, you're not just describing responsibilities, you're showing ownership. Now let's go deeper into a question that exposes whether you have actually worked on a project or not. What is requirement gathering? Now on the surface, this sounds simple, but interviewers use this question to identify whether you have practical understanding. So when you hear this, don't think definition, think execution. They want to know, how do you actually gather requirements in real life? But what do most students say? They say we collect requirements from stakeholders, and that's it. No explanation, no techniques, no validation. And that immediately signals lack of real exposure. So instead, shift your thinking. Requirement gathering is not just collecting information. It's about understanding, clarifying, and validating business needs. So your answer should reflect that depth. Requirement gathering is the process of identifying stakeholders' needs using techniques like interviews, workshops, and analysis, and then validating those requirements to ensure clarity and completeness. Now you're showing method. And to make it even stronger, add this line. I always validate requirements early to avoid rework later. That shows real world thinking. Now let's talk about question where many candidates lose marks even though it's a basic one. What is the difference between functional and non-functional requirements? Now this question is not difficult, but it tests your clarity in fundamentals. And interviewers expect two things here: clear distinction and a simple example. But what happens in reality? Candidates either confuse the two or they give textbook definition without making it relatable. And the answer feels memorized. So here's how you should approach this. Keep it simple in your mind first. Functional means what the system does. Non-functional means how well the system performs. And then convert that into a clean answer. Functional requirements define system behavior like login or payment functionality. Non-functional requirements define performance aspects like speed, scalability, and security. But don't stop there. This is where most candidates miss the opportunity to stand out. Always add an example. For instance, login is a functional requirement, but ensuring the login happens within 2 seconds is a non-functional requirement. Now your answer feels complete and practical. Now let's move to documentation, another area where candidates give very weak answers. What is a BRD? Now again, don't think definition, think purpose. The interviewer is trying to understand whether you know why this document exists. But most candidates say, BRD is a document that contains requirements, and that's too generic. It doesn't show understanding. So instead, think from a business perspective. Why do we create a BRD? To ensure everyone is aligned before development begins. And once you understand that, your answer becomes naturally stronger. A business requirement document outlines business objectives, requirements, and expected outcomes to ensure all stakeholders are aligned. And if you want to add impact, say this. It ensures clarity and alignment before development starts. Now, as we move forward, I'll go a bit faster. But remember, these questions are still very important. What is an FRD? Think of it as the next step after BRD, where business requirements are transformed into detailed functional specifications for developers, so they can actually build the solution without confusion. What is Agile? Don't overcomplicate this. Agile is simply an approach where we deliver value in small increments, continuously improving based on feedback. And the key idea here is adaptability. What is the role of a business analyst in Agile? Here, your focus should be on collaboration. You are working closely with product owners, refining user stories, and ensuring the development team has complete clarity. You are still the bridge, just in a faster, more iterative environment. What is a use case? Simple. It's how a user interacts with the system to achieve a goal. Always think user actions and outcomes. What is UML? It's just a way to visually represent systems using diagrams. So instead of explaining everything in text, you show it. Who is a stakeholder? Anyone who is impacted by the project. And don't forget to mention business teams, technical teams, and end users. That shows completeness. What is gap analysis? Very straightforward. It's comparing where we are right now with where we want to be and identifying what needs to change to get there. And if you think like that, your answer will always feel natural. If you have reached here, you are already ahead of most candidates because now you're not just learning answers, you're learning how to think like an interviewer. If you want to actually answer these questions with confidence, you need real project experience. I'm creating a full business analyst project series where I show everything step by step. Link is in the description. That's where you build real skills. Now don't stop here. Continue your preparation using my full interview playlist. Or if you want real experience, go to my business analyst project series. Both are on the screen. Pick one and keep going.